What's going on, boys? I know it's been a while since we've done a deck profile on the channel, and I know I said I'd do combo tutorials on heroes last time I uploaded, but yeah, I've been busy trying out new decks. I have 8 in total now, and the most recent deck I've been really playing a lot is Code Talkers, because they're really easy and they're really fun, and I've had this deck for a while, but I've never had all the cards to finish it. And so I haven't been uploading because I wanted to do this as my next tutorial. So I've been waiting to finish the deck profile, and it's finally completed. So let's get into the deck. Starting with the main monsters, 3 copies of Microcoder. Microcoder is the best additional extender in the deck because it allows you to link summon from hand. It is the bread and butter, basically, for the deck. 2 copies of Generator. Generator, again, like Microcoder, lets you link from hand. When it's linked from hand, Generator lets you send a monster from your deck to the grave, which would most likely be your Dotscaper, which I'll explain later. In Microcoder, I forgot to mention, when you link someone with him from hand, he gets to search you a Signet spell or trap, which would most likely be either Codec or Conflict, which I'll show you those later. This one's optional. There are a lot of optional cards, just like in Heroes. I play 1 Code Radiator. Now this could be Exporter or a 3rd Generator if you want to, but Generators really only get at 2 because you don't really want to see it too much. You could play 3 if you want to see it in your opening hand, but in reality you mainly want to see Microcoder. Excuse me, I ate not too long ago. You want to see Microcoder in your opening hand. So yeah, Code Radiator. When you link summon it from your hand, it can target a monster your opponent controls, make its attack and effects negated, and its attacker 0. 2 Link Slayer. You only play 2. I've never seen anyone play 3, really. And Link Slayer is just a great extender. You want to see this in your open hand. Not all the time, but most of the time, so it's really good. And now we're on to the main monsters. Those are like Link monsters from hand, and a special summoner is Link Slayer. The best normal summon of the deck, Lady Debug. When she's summoned, she searches any level 3 or lower Cyberse, which can be really good at times, depending on what you want to search. So yeah, Lady Debug's really good. You play 3 without any question. If you're going first or second, you want to play this no matter what. Don't mind the condition of the sleeves if you see them. It's just because they're a bit old sleeves. But the next card, 2 Parallel Exceed. Exceed's really good because when you link summon a Link monster, for example, Transcode Talker, because he's got the arrows, you could summon it next to the zone it points to. For example, the arrow on the left, you play it right next to it, and you can play another one immediately. It's really good. You want to play this at 2, unless you play Small World, then you play 3, because it's a good searcher for that card. And my Salamangreat Monster package, I play 1 Spinny, 1 Gazelle, and 1 Jaguar. They're all pretty decent. Spinny is good for in the grave because you can summon it if you control another Salamangreat monster, which I do play Salamangreat monsters in here, like in the extra deck too. Gazelle is really good for if a Salamangreat monster is sent to the grave. For example, if you relink a Baylynx or Spinny goes to grave, immediately you can special summon it and send a Salamangreat to the grave. Gazelle's a foolish, basically. You foolish your Spinny, or like let's say you link off Gazelle and you have this in hand, or Jaguar I meant. You link off Jaguar, let's say you summon Baylynx, which is the Link monster. You can summon Gazelle, dump Spinny, you can then summon Spinny, and then you can make crazy plays off of that. So, it's pretty insane. If you guys want to see me do a combo tutorial, I will be playing on Master Duel. I might upload vids on Master Duel, because it'll look way better than this camera angle that you're looking at. But yeah, if you want to see my deck profiles and stuff on Master Duel, like my IRL decks, I can put them in Master Duel so you can see them a lot better. Let me know. Next off, I play Cyberse Gadget. When you summon it, you can reborn a level 2 or lower. Really good to reborn your Microcoder if it gets sent to grave. Backup Secretary. You don't play this all the time, but I do for an extra card. Because you want to play Cyberse Converter instead, because it's good to special summon, and you can relink it off. It's a good extender, basically. Secretary, special summon from your hand too, but It's not as good as Converter, because Converter is good for a Link Summon material for a level 2 or lower. Sea Archiver, it's a really good card to search off your Kodak with your shooting code talker. You want to play Sea Archiver in any Cyber deck, most likely. Same thing with the next card, Format Skipper. Skipper, you'd search with Inverted and summon it. It's like a cheat you can do if you have a Cyberse in hand already. Skipper's really good. Yeah, Skipper. You want to play one of Skipper. Now, this card you want to play 3 of, but I only play 1 of for specific reasons. Nightmare Corruptor Ibly. Now, this card is the whole reason why you play Code Talkers. Because if you can get a U-Link on your field, which is essentially like a full U setup, like for example, it's going to look really bad. I'm just using random cards. Like you see, I got a full U. If you can achieve the U-Link with an Ibly lock on your opponent's field, you will most likely win the duel. Because they cannot out-Ibly. Because Ibly, when it's on your opponent's field, they can only Link Summon. They can't Special Summon. They can normal summon, but they can't special summon as long as they have Ibly. So your odds is you want to have Ibly on the field, on their field, along with a spell card on your field that can potentially out the Ibly, which I will show you that after the monsters. Dotscaper, this is what you send with your code generator, as I said earlier. It's a free body, basically. It can special summon itself to the field, and it's pretty good. You want to play Dotscaper in any Cyber deck if you're playing generator. Gotchi is the only Attic Nister monster we play, because you can negate an effect, for example, the Exceed. If you have one on the field, summon it. I will be doing a combo tutorial on this at some point. I just don't know when, but Gotchi's great. Link Infoflyer, again, free body, you can special summon. Pretty basic, decent. You want to play 1. Now, I only run 2 hand traps, because hand traps on a budget, basically. Because this is basically a budget build. Ghost Mourner, Moonlit Chill, and Effect Filler. Ghost Mourner is really good for the meta games right now. It can negate an Ash sometimes. And Effect Filler negates easy monster effects that stop your plays. And now for the best card in the deck. The reason you play Code Talkers is because of this card right here. Cynet Kodak. You have to play 3 of these. Kodak basically lets you search up to 5 attributes in 1 turn, basically. Because every time you summon a talker, you summon transcode to get an earth, X code to get a wind, shooting code to get water, code talker again, dark, light with inverted. The combos in this deck are crazy. And you want to be playing Code Talkers. If you're playing Cybers, I suggest either Code Talkers or Salamangrates, but Code Talkers are really good. The whole point of playing the Salamangrate cards is because of this card right here, Sanctuary. Salamangrate Sanctuary is basically the card that is the Ibly negate, Ibly, basically. Because you can, basically what you can do, you can relink a Salamangrate monster. For example, let's say I have Baylynx on the field. I can relink the Baylynx to get another Baylynx for free, which has a really good effect, which I'll talk about after, but that effect does not matter. It's the second effect you want to play this card for. You can pay 1,000 life points, target a monster you control, drop its attack to 0, and gain life points equal to that attack. The reason why that's relevant is because you're giving your opponent an Ibly. Ibly has 0 attack and 0 defense. If it versus another monster, for example, I'm just doing this because they're right next to each other, Dotscaper. If they try to clash, these two cannot die because they're both at 0 points. So, essentially, you're U-locking them with an Ibly that cannot kill anything. And they're most likely just to surrender in Master Duel, basically, too. So, that's why you play Sanctuary. Monster Reborn, Extender, Mystical Space Typhoon, back row removal, Hand Destruction. If you brick, this is optional. These two are optional. You want to play Reborn, but these two are optional. I play these because back row removal, you need some kind of back row removal because they are going to play, they could be playing traps. Hand Destruction for bricking, discard 2 useless cards or something. Like if you want something in your grave, discard it. The best spell card in the game right now, probably always could be, is Called by the Grave. It negates hand traps from the hand, apart from Nibiru, but Ibly's an out to Nibiru. If you get Ibly out early, you can stop Nibiru. Boogie Trap, you want to play 2 copies of Silent Conflict over 1 Conflict in Boogie Trap. This is just temporarily, but this card is decent. It basically, you discard 2 cards, add a trap back to your hand. which is important for a trap later on. 1 for 1, gets your microcoder easily. You can discard any monster summon to level 1. Could be microcoder. It even could be Dotscaper or something easy. You can even use 1 for 1 to discard Dotscaper to get a free summon if you brick with it in your hand. Pretty good. This card's optional again. Soul Charge. It's like another Monster Reborn, only you pay 1,000 for every monster you bring back. Really good. But this card is mandatory. Signet Conflict. If you have a Code Talker on your field, you can negate an effect, banish the card, and your opponent cannot activate the card until the end of the next turn. So let's say they activate an Ash. You can play this, negate the Ash Blossom. They cannot use Ash Blossom for the rest of the turn, so they can't interrupt you. And another good card to negate Asher, like a Hand Trap, even Nibiru, Solemn Strike. You don't have to play this. You can play another, like, extender or something with it instead of this. But I like to play this over, like, heavy traps or anything because this is good. It's a good negate, and all it does is pay life points. But you pay life points a lot in this deck, but you don't really need too much life points because you're going to end up gaining more with the Sanctuary. That's it for the main deck. On to the extra deck. 2 copies of Transcode Talker. You only need 1, but I play 2 because sometimes there's odds where I need to play another. So I play 2 Transcode. 1 Xcode Talker. Xcode Talker is another searcher. It's good for a chain block too with Ash Blossom. Same thing with Shooting Code. You don't play them for the effects. You play it for the attributes. For example, if I wanted to, I could throw in Power Code Talker for the Salamangreats. But the only reason why I don't is because I like to play Dark Fluid, because there's some times where I can summon Dark Fluid if I desperately need to, and it's decent. Code Talker, you can shift out Transcode for the other Talker easily. Inverted, same thing. You only play 1, though. It can special summon a Cyberse from your hand. So what you do is you do Inverted Chainlink 1 and Signet Codec Chainlink 2. Add the light and summon it next to the monster it points to. But you need a Cyberse in hand to activate it. But most of the time you will if you play the combo where you get Exceed in your hand first. And your boy, he's already been out of the ban list for a few years now. Firewall Dragon. You need one of these in your deck. Doesn't matter what rarity. I don't even have the Ghost Rare. It's like $50 if you want to be a psycho and get that. Or if you already have one. Good for you. Dark Fluid. You don't play this. I just threw this in as my 15th card because I was 1 card short. So I just threw that in. Talkback Lancer. The reason why, like I said, level 2 is because in order to link summon this guy, you need a level 2 or lower Cyberse, which is what Ibly, Dotscaper, Microcoder, all those like level 1 and 2s. That's why you want to play Converter. That's why you want to play Converter over the Secretary, because Converter is good to make Talkback, but you can play both. Splash Mage, you could play 2 of this if you want. It reborns a code monster. And normally, they'd play, like, Avermax. I like to play the Trigate package, which is Trigate Wizard, Link Devotee, and Secure Gardener. Because if you have all 3 monsters pointing to Trigate, you have a free negate. Negates are broken in this. Devotee, when it's tributed, summon 2 tokens, which is why you play the Talkback Lancer, because it can tribute Devotee. Secure Gardener, you mainly use it for the arrow for the Trigate and the full U-Link. And lastly, the reason why we play Sanctuary is because of the 2 copies of Salamangreat Baylings. Bayling searches the field spell. When it's in the graveyard, you can banish it to protect the field spell or even the other Baylings, which is really good because you want the field spell if they have Ibly because you Ibly lock them. So that's why you play that. And that is it for the deck profile. If you guys want to see a combo tutorial, you don't have to leave a like. Just let me know if you want to see one. Or you can even watch Distant Coder, because this is basically his build, kind of. But mine's different a bit, because I run the Salamangreat Monster package with Spinny, Gazelle, and Jaguar. But, yeah. Alright, see y'all next time. Peace.